Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda and coffee and purple stuff in the fridge. Yes, my friends, it is a lovely Sunday afternoon, a chilly Pittsburgh day, snow flurries in the air, chilled to my bones, and I'm sitting here with my new friend, mystery person. We've talked like maybe 1 minute in our entire life total. We have no idea what's going on, but I'm going to learn a lot about him. Make some noise for my friend, Hunty Lytes.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So one of the really cool things about doing this podcast now and with things starting to pick up is that more people are finding out about it, which is great. That's why we do things, right? And people are starting to reach out. Lots of strangers. It's been so many friends for such a long time, and now I'm getting to meet so many new people. So you, my friend, are one of those people. You reached out. I appreciate the connection. And now here we are. We're talking, and we're talking about what we do. And what do you do, my friend?
Well, I'm a local musician.
Yes.
I have a band here based in people from the general area, Bridgeville, people outside the city. And we just jam. That's what we do.
Hell yeah.
So it's been real fun. This is the first full year that we've done a lot of shows together and worked together. For a while, I did a lot of stuff on my own. And that's a lot of fun, but it gets pretty boring just doing everything on your own in terms of even just playing live shows.
Yeah.
It really sucks. It sucks a lot. So I try not to, I'm trying not to do a lot of that. I've actually, I'm doing a solo show coming up. But that's the first one I've done in quite a long time. Yeah. So it's a nice change once in a while to throw one in there, but the band stuff's great.
Yeah, I relate 100%, you know, coming from a lot of I started out playing a lot of shows doing hip hop, and it was like, okay, I'll make my beats and then just put them on an iPod and then I just rap.
Yeah.
And then like after a while, it started to feel like karaoke, you know?
Yeah.
And then so I was like, well, let's get a band. So now I have a band and stuff and it's tight. And every once in a while, I'll still play like a solo show. Yeah. But it never feels the same.
No, it's not the same vibe, and you can't obviously get the same sound. And I think I like the loud, not the loud noise kind of stuff, but I like it to sound full.
I agree.
And I think it sounds a lot better that way, unless you're, you know, like Bob Weir. Bob Weir's great solo acoustic.
Sure. I think that, you know, there's plenty of great solo artists that are able to do that. They love doing it. That's their thing. But for me, music, I think, has always been about finding other people to work with and connecting with other people, and about like building a team of people, bringing everybody's individual talents together to make this like cool, beautiful experience happen.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And the people we got right now are great. And they do their own stuff too. Yeah. So it's not like a set thing, and I like that. I like people able to go out and do their own thing too, because that's what I like. I mean, that's what I've done. So yeah.
So you said right now you are playing, and you're based out of the Bridgeville area.
I have some people from Bridgeville that are in the band.
So like with a lot of the places that you're playing, what kind of spots are you playing?
Yeah, you know, this past year we played some pretty cool spots. Club Cafe has been a big spot for us.
Yeah, it's a great room.
Love Club Cafe. Mm-hmm. The place is sweet, and everybody there is great. Arsenal Bowling Lanes.
Okay, yeah,
is a pretty fun area. I don't like it as much there because the people are there to bowl, and you don't really get that same attraction as when you do play Club Cafe.
Sure, you're just kind of like wallpaper.
Yeah, exactly. You're just kind of there, and that's okay. That's more of a bar band. You're just kind of playing.
Yeah, I've played that room before. It was real weird.
Yeah, it's a sweet place though. It's very hip and retro, and I like that. It's very stuck in the whatever.
I like the back room.
Yeah, the back room's sweet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That place is rad.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a movie or something. when I'm
Yeah,
in there.
seriously. Yeah. They get the big bowling pin and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we played Hard Rock Cafe.
Cool. What was
this
that
past
like for
year.
you?
It's a cool place. You know, it's a cool place, and the audience is great, except it's just more of people are coming in for dinner and then they're leaving once dinner's over. You know, they're not leaving. You know, it could be a bad situation where they sit down and they immediately leave.
Sure.
You know, but so they're staying. It's just they're not. You know, they're there for dinner. They're not there for the show. But to play at the Hard Rock's cool. I mean, anything really associated with that, I think is pretty. I mean. That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's a cool place, and everybody there was real nice. It's beautiful inside. The room's great, and the sound's real good too. So just places like that really around here. And then, you know, State College. We've done a couple shows in Dayton, Ohio. We've played a couple shows.
So what name is the band performing under?
It's been performing under just my name.
Yeah.
Which we never intended on doing that, because we never really intended it on being a group, like a band.
Sure, it just kind of happened.
It's just like, yeah, we're just making music and it's my songs, so it's my band.
Yeah.
But we're looking to rework that.
Yeah, that's it's so funny, the parallels. I fell into the same exact issue once I got my band. We were still performing under just my name. And then it became a thing where, like, sometimes I would play shows and I had the band and sometimes I didn't. So nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And I felt weird because, like, we wrote an album of music together, and, like, it didn't feel right to not credit them in some way.
Right.
So now it went from Sykes to Sykes and the New Violence. And that was why that ended up happening, was because I felt like the band deserved to have some sort of, like, a credit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are making it sound real good.
Yeah.
You know? But also on my end, you know, just in terms of the way I think of it, you know, I'm writing the songs and I am doing, you know, the marketing for the shows. I'm booking the shows. I'm doing all that kind of stuff too. So, I mean, I do the bulk of the work.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you know, they're the ones that are...
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort.
Yeah. So let's do a major rewind to Lil Hunty. Great. Back in the day. When did you get started playing music?
I was at 5 or 6. So,
what were you listening to at the time?
Excuse me, sorry.
That's okay.
Boy, at the time, well, here the thing is that I don't really know what time period I started listening to. I was probably like 10 or 11 when I really started listening to, like, actual artists.
Sure.
And caring about, like, what that artist was.
Yeah.
So Billy Joel was my first person that I really got into, and then through Billy Joel I got into Bruce Springsteen. So those two were really the people that really got me going. In terms of really liking music.
Oh yeah.
But then it just took a real big turn from there. I mean, I remember listening to absolutely everything. Now I really love Grateful Dead. Jerry and Bob are incredible. Jackson Browne, got really big into. Warren Zevon. Sure. So just kind of some obscure people. But it's just kind of because I kind of just go in spins of what I listen to, you know. Yeah. I'm a really big ELO fan. I love Jeff Lynne. That guy's good. It's just insane.
Seems like you're smart. Like more of like a rock and roll singer-songwriter type of, like, yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah, but I also love, like, Henry Thomas, great early country blues. Yeah. Dean Martin is fantastic.
Hell yeah.
So I kind of have a very broad sense of music, but generally the people that this music I write is generally rock singer-songwriter stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't really ever stretch too far from that.
So around the time that you actually started, like, first writing songs and performing music, how old were you by the time you were playing shows?
When I started writing songs, I mean, probably a couple years after I started listening to Springsteen.
Yeah.
But I didn't start doing. I mean, the first show I played, I was 16 or 17, because I was pretty nervous to go out there and do that.
Was it solo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. So I didn't want to go out and do that.
What was the situation like? Was it like what was the show like? Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was super low key in some guy's backyard.
Oh, cool.
For some charity event.
Okay.
Foundation thing. And it was fine.
Did you play originals or covers?
Both.
Nice.
Both. It was only like 6 or 7 songs, I think.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. I think it was only, that show but it went fine. I mean, nothing was wrong with it.
Yeah.
It just, it's funny to look at that and then look at what I have now. It's like, back then I was like, oh, if I just had a band, like this would be sweet. Like all my problems would be solved. And now I have a band. It's just like, all right, this is sweet, but we still got a lot of problems, you know?
Sure.
So,
oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
you don't realize
more people, more problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, and sometimes it's not problems isn't always the best word to put on it, but it's just, I mean, you're one adult.
Right.
And then you add 3, 4, 5 more adults into your equation. It's like, oh, fuck. Now it's like, I want to play this show, but if one of our 6 adults can't do it, you know?
Well, that's like, the biggest thing.
You get doomed.
It's really hard to, and obviously you get it. I mean,
yeah,
everybody gets that. But it's tough. It really is tough, especially when everybody's living. And, you know, I got 2 people live in Bridgeville. I live, you know, here in the city. The other guy lives out by Mount Washington. So everybody's just kind of spread out. And it's not far, but with the traffic, I think it'd take an hour and a half to get to Bridgeville. Yeah,
it's a lot of effort. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, I'm just excited if there's a band that has I don't care how technically good they are or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're consistent enough that they could like manage to keep playing shows, releasing material, and getting together, like that's a feat in itself. There's so much effort that goes into that. So I always try to let it be known, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like support local music. Like, yeah, but like outside, just respect the hustle of local music. It takes so much effort for people to get together and put out the stuff.
Yeah, I'd crazy. Say it's almost impossible. I mean, it really is. I mean, unless you have the right group of people. And I'm not saying I have the wrong group of people. I'm saying, you know, the right group of people that are solely dedicated to this.
Yeah, and if things don't work out one week or something, you need to be able to have that understanding and that empathy for each other where it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, so-and-so has to take their daughter to the hospital, or so-and-so's wife is sick, or, so, you know, like weird shit that happens. So-and-so has to stay late at work. Like,
yeah. Well, the biggest problem is about working for yourself is that those days you just say, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Sure.
Or I'll just meet, okay, we can't meet this week. All right, we'll just do it next week. And that kills you. It absolutely kills you until you get on that track of just every day.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. But I mean, even in those moments, there are things that you can do possibly to still be productive. Like, say, for example, I play in a band called Grey Walker outside of Sykes and a New Violence. And if we can't get together on our Wednesday's our day. That's our weekday. We get together after work. Mm-hmm. But sometimes somebody has to stay late at work or somebody's sick and things like that. But if something happens and one of us can't make it, some of the guys will still get together. Like maybe the guitar guys will get together and just work on riffs themselves.
Right.
Or like maybe I'll be like, hey, since you guys do that, I'll go home. I'll work on a flyer for that show we have coming up. Or you know, there's still like the things that you could do to keep things productive, even if everybody can't get together. It's not optimal, but there's still things that you can focus on in that time to still, you know, be productive.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, everybody can practice on their own.
Yeah.
And their own part. I think we can agree that's totally preferable to obviously be all together. But sometimes just it doesn't work. But that's the beautiful thing about having a band is that it's an unknown journey. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. When it comes to like the people that you're performing with, how did you find the group of people that you have right now? How did they come together?
All right, let me think about this. Okay, so I met the lead guitar player, and then through him, he knew everybody else.
Oh, cool.
He didn't play with them, but he knew them through someone or this and that, and so then eventually we all just got together, and then we just started playing together.
Cool.
And that was it. Very easy, very quick. And everybody just kind of liked each other right from the very start.
That's good.
So it worked out great, and there hasn't been any like in band issues for a whole year.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah! Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. But that's just because we all like each other. Yeah, and we do things other than music outside, of doing the shows and doing practices and stuff like that. We'll hang out, or I'll invite them over for parties or whatever.
I think that was going to be my next question, was like what your relationship with them has been outside of the music.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of people take for granted or don't focus enough energy on.
Yeah,
I feel like if you want your band to do good, obviously you got to practice.
Right.
You got to write good songs. Yeah. But if you're not actually friends, like if you don't feel like they're like your brothers or sisters in a way, like it's not gonna last. There's gonna be like weird tensions are gonna start to come up. Like whenever you get into the practice space, you need to know what's going on with everybody. Right. If somebody's having like a weird personal issue or something, you gotta like just be there for those people. That way everybody can create with like a good, positive, connected energy around each other.
Yeah.
It's so crucial.
Yeah, I totally agree. We have a great working relationship, and then we also have a great personal relationships outside of that, even as one-on-one and even as a whole. Like we'd hang out together as a whole, or even just certain people or whatever. So it really is nice because along with the band, I also got 4 or 5 new friends out of it as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It's not easy to make friends these days.
It's not. It's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say that it's easy to make. It's not that it's hard to make friends. I just find that it's hard to make friends with people that I feel I have things in common with.
Yeah.
It's like really hard for me to be around people that aren't artists. And I don't mean that in a bad way if you're not an artist, but it's just like, I can only talk about like normal people stuff for like maybe 4 or 5 minutes before I'm like, yo, like, you get any guitar pedals recently?
Yeah.
Like, what have you been recording? What are you doing? Like my brain's just always in it because I love it. That's like what I love to talk about.
Yeah. My biggest talking point for pretty much everybody is Phil Collins.
Okay.
That is my go-to talking point. I fucking love Phil Collins.
Phil Collins is tight. Yeah.
That guy like is the most perfect performer I think ever. And anytime I'm out or anywhere, I always bring up Phil Collins because I think he's just that perfect. He's that perfect talking point. I could talk for hours about Phil Collins. And so for me, it's great because I never run out of anything to say.
I don't know I couldn't talk for hours about Phil Collins, but I have no problems with Phil Collins. I just don't think I know nearly enough to hold court with you in the court of Phil Collins by any means.
Yeah, I really love just everything he's done. I mean, I think he's just fantastic. And Genesis is fantastic. So, and the Tarzan did the Disney stuff. Just so many different outlets that he's put himself into. I think is really the definition of, how to be a successful, pop star.
Yeah.
And then going out there and, doing 3.5-hour shows, running 6 miles, and just moving. And the horn section, I think horn sections are key to a successful band. You got to have a horn section.
Okay.
I don't have a horn section.
I was going to ask
or any horns players, but we're not successful. So, so that's maybe our problem. Maybe I just figured it out. But no, I really just, I think he's great. I love him. He just came to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And that was a great show. He can't stand anymore. So it's a little sad. Because there's not that energy that I love. because that's what really draws me to him. I like that moving around kind of sweat, really work for what you're doing.
Yeah, totally.
So he can't do that anymore. But the show is still great. I mean, just to see Phil Collins, I mean, because last time he toured was like 2004. So, I mean, it was a nice, rare thing to be able to go do.
Absolutely.
So that's my bit on Phil Collins.
When it comes to the band and all the homies and the purple stuff in the cup, how do you and the guys balance this business and party?
Sure.
What's that been like?
Well, I'm the worst out of the group. I mean, we all have fun. We have a lot of fun, but I don't really balance that because I don't know why. I don't. I haven't had an issue with it. See, like for shows, I don't drink at shows. That's just something I don't do because I know what could happen.
Sure.
And it's just not worth it at all. I mean, I might have a drink or two, but I'm not going to be, on the floor by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But like rehearsals, and anything like that, it's a whole different story because I really hate rehearsals. I hate rehearsing, just because it's the repetition of doing it over and over again and trying to perfect it. And by the end of the rehearsal, it might have been there for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. And, we maybe played 5 songs. And it's just like, I don't even want to play those 5 songs anymore. So for me, going to rehearsals, I drink a lot. I drink a lot at rehearsals to the point where I don't remember rehearsing, which is the reason why I do it, because I don't want to remember rehearsing.
Okay.
But I'm very well intact on what's going on once I hit the show. I can get up there and I just could play because they're my songs. So I wrote them. So I have a better touch because they're learning them. I kind of already got it. So yeah, you got to get the speed and where we want certain people to play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But once that's figured out, I really don't. I mean, it's all them.
I think it's really easy to over rehearse.
Yeah.
I think that it's something that has happened with Grey Walker in some aspects. I feel that, we have like this batch of material that we've been playing for a long time. And then we're always working on new stuff too. But it's like, we'll get together every week and it's like we're still playing the set before we do anything else.
Right.
And some weeks it's just like, why the fuck let's just work on the new stuff. There's no reason to it's like, we know this stuff.
Yeah.
But then what'll happen is like, we won't play it, say, for 2 weeks. And then say there's a week that we have to take off. And then all of a sudden we haven't played this stuff for like a month and a half. And then we have a show in a week. And it's like, oh, fuck, we don't remember the songs. And it's like, shit, we should have kept playing them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a Russian roulette of sorts whenever they like take weeks off from playing the songs and not. And
right.
It's silly, but I totally get it.
Yeah. It's just the first hour is okay. And then after that, it just kind of drags for me.
I think about rehearsing in the way that maybe driving a car is like, in the sense of like, even though you know what's going on, you still have to pay attention to the people around you because somebody else could be fucking off.
Right.
So even though you feel rehearsed and you know everything is right, you almost need to do it just to keep an eye on everybody else and make sure like the bass player's not forgetting something or the drummer's not playing a part behind the beat, like weird shit.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, the other great thing about the group of guys that I have on kind of, on the rehearsing aspect of it is they're all very good. And they're very, very smart in terms of just music in general.
Yeah.
A lot smarter than I am in terms of, organizing things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's great because, that's kind of where we get that whole band sense from, maybe not necessarily have a name, but we all definitely do work together to figure it out, because there's some things that I would never have been able to figure out or understand had, one of them not been able to do it. So it definitely is. It's perfect, just, because everybody's got their own ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's awesome being able to like get people together in a room and having people that have ideas, people that want to contribute, and people that you can learn from.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more of a worthwhile experience.
Yeah, we're also learning.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this past year, we all have really learned a lot from each other and just from the experiences that we've all, had as a band. So, I really thought that last year, I keep saying this, last year was amazing just because, we really got out there in terms of, playing a lot of, shows and always getting better. I don't like doing the same show twice. So we don't have a really generic set list at all. So no matter when you come see us, it's always going to be different. But every show that we did, I thought, even though we were changing it, I really thought that every show was getting a lot better than the last, which I was real happy with.
That's awesome. So on another aspect of the shows that you've been playing, I'm curious to ask you about is like the community of artists that maybe you found yourself in, like other bands outside of your band. Have you found that like you're playing with like a lot of the same bands or similar styles of artists, or has it been a mix?
It's been a mix. We actually, William Sparks, who's a local musician here, he's a solo acoustic artist. And he opened for a few shows for us at Club Cafe early last year. And he's great. He's real good guitarist, good songwriter. And then bands like we've come to know like people like the Vicks, Bobby Dugans, and that. He's actually an Erie guy as well. He's got a band down here. They're very good. Dead Grass, a Grateful Dead cover band. They're a national touring act. And we opened for them last year, and they're great. They're all strings.
That's pretty
cool. It's pretty sweet. Very bluesgrass kind of stuff. Yeah. So that was awesome. And then just, there's so many bands and so many people that make music, especially through like Facebook. I think that's been my biggest portal for making connections.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, totally. So, having our band page or our Facebook page, and then having other artists like that or other bands like that, and then kind of come into connection. I'm doing a show with a guy from the Whelming Waters band, who's a Pittsburgh-based band, but I met him and from that, so just like cool things like that. I really like that kind of community sense that you had said, with local musicians or even other musicians in other areas. I think it's cool. There's I'm trying to think, Summer Camp is a Pittsburgh band, great band.
Really, really cool. Friends of the show, they've been on. Shout outs to them.
Yeah, they're great. And there's so many of them that are really, really good. And so it's hard a little bit. There's a lot, of bands out there that are playing, every night or every other night and stuff like that. So it's just finding that schedule and finding, what works, like we've been talking about. But yeah, no, so there's plenty of great people that we've met and linked up with this past year.
I think it's really cool that you have that mindset in terms of social media for good, social media for what it is. There's a lot of people that get distracted by, there's a lot of negativity that you could get sucked into with social media. And there's a lot of kind of like, the algorithm's ruining our band and we got to pay for this. And you can get sucked into all that shit. But it's like also you could just send messages to people and make things work. Like
that's it.
Stop thinking about like, it's like, I think everybody looks at it like too big, too crazy. Just like scale it down. Like much how like you reached out to me to come on the show.
Right.
How complicated was this? Just like send a message like, hey, I'm this person. I would like to come on the show. And I'm like, okay. And then it's the other thing too. You have a band that you know about that you think is cool. Shoot them a message like, hey, I'm in a band. I like your band. Want to set up a show?
Right.
Okay. And then you set it up and then you make friends. It's so simple.
Exactly. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not paying for shit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's just communicating. But generally, people like us or people with this mindset or the music mindset generally aren't afraid to, communicate with people.
Yeah.
So it's nice because it's not like I'm messaging someone random, but it's not like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna, hit me back.
Sure.
Or not. They're going to because we're on the same mindset.
Exactly. Like if you are a performer or somebody that wants to get in touch with another band, right, on the internet, just you go on their Facebook page, you see that they're posting stuff every day or whatever. It's like they're on here and they're posting stuff because they want people to interact with it.
Right.
So if you send them a message, they're probably going to get back to you.
It's just about taking those chances.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even do it with, somewhat bigger people.
Totally.
I mean, people on the national level, like Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. They're from Jersey. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I'm not. No.
They're big 70s, 80s. Bruce Springsteen really put them on.
Okay, cool.
But Southside's got pretty good connections with Pittsburgh. So he comes here quite a bit. And he plays with Joe Grishecki. Those two are buddies. And so, we've hit up Southside Johnny's folks before for when they're, maybe looking for an opening act in town. And we've got responses. We're doing a show this date and this date, or we're going to be here or there, So it's just about taking the chances and just, giving enough time, not doing it the night before, saying, hey, we're a local band. We want to open for you tomorrow night. Well, no one's going to give a shit about you. You know what I mean?
Be a little preemptive.
Yeah, but really, looking into the future, and if you're really trying to do something like that, or someone that's coming to town who's not playing at the arena, maybe, try messaging them or hitting them up or something. And we've, kind of with Dead Grass, that's how we kind of met up with them as a nationally touring act. We just saw they were coming to town and we got them. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of, trying things out, seeing what's available.
Yeah, it's the other thing too is nothing terrible is going to happen.
Right.
The worst thing that's probably going to happen is either they're going to say no or ignore you.
Right.
But even if that happens, your name is still on their radar.
Right.
You're still, it's like, I remember like there's people that hit me up to come on the podcast or hit me up for shows and I can't always do it. It doesn't always work out.
Right.
But I still remember who they are.
Yeah.
And then maybe three or 4 months down the line, when I have like a lull in guests, I might hit them back, be like, hey, if you're still interested, I have some spots now.
Right.
Because you hit me up. I remember those things. Other people will remember if you do reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just doing it. It's just honestly it. Just taking the time to just do it. But that's all part of all of this, So
yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it than just, writing the songs and booking the gigs, unfortunately. But if you could figure it out and learn how to have fun with it, it's fun, like talking with people, making friends, setting up the shows, doing all the promotional stuff, the marketing stuff. It's fun once you get a grip on it. Because again, it's like it's learning, you're gaining knowledge, and that's fun.
Yeah, I prefer to write the songs and just do the shows. Because writing the songs is my favorite part.
Sure, same. Yeah.
I like that part a lot. And the shows are also great too. I love now I'm comfortable with it. I love playing live shows. I think it's great. Just the interaction with the people and just the live sound I think is really fun. Getting it as close as you can to the recordings, but also adding that solo or adding that, maybe extended outro or something. Sure. It's really fun too, because you're just kind of playing around with it, and not everything has to be scripted. That's something I don't like when artists do that. I don't like when, especially the bigger names, they'll do a tour and every night's the same set.
Sure.
And for some of these guys, I mean, their catalogs, I mean, are, 300 songs, and you're going to play the same 18 songs for 57 shows.
Yeah, I imagine it gets complicated. You know what I mean? If you're like, you got like all the hired guns and all of your light techs and sound engineers, and everybody has to like, it's not even just the band at that point that needs to know the set list. It's like you have like 24 people that need to know what's going on to make everything work.
Oh, absolutely. And I guess, I mean, you are right in terms of that. I guess so for me, I guess it's either, that real big production show that you go see at at an arena.
For those things, it's like, that's probably why it's so scripted.
Where they got the fire and they got the videos and the lights and all that kind of stuff. But, like those theater shows are my favorite. I love the theater shows. Like Paul Simon, he just came to the arena a couple years ago, and that was a great show. But just that solo acoustic stuff where they can kind of change it,
Sure. Yeah.
Bob Weir, Jackson Brown are all great. John Prine is great with that. But like Billy Joel and Bruce Springsteen have different sets every night as well. They don't ever play the same set twice. And Bruce especially. I mean, Bruce Springsteen just takes signs out of the audience and just, throws them up there and just expects everybody to just figure it out.
Yeah.
And I like that. I'd be nervous as shit playing in his band because you don't know what's coming. But I think that it's so much better doing that spontaneity kind of stuff, just kind of off the cuff. Someone requests a song, play it. I think that adds just so much more memory to the concert as well.
It's fun. There have been times with Grey Walker sets where anytime that if we're headlining a gig and we have like a much bigger time slot, 'cause I mean, we do like basically like it's melodic death metal. It's fast. It's crazy. We normally once we hit like 40 minutes, it's like it's exhausting for us and it's exhausting for everybody. Right. That's a lot of noise to deal with, right? Yeah. But sometimes we have like an hour spot to fill, but it's like okay, we have a 40-minute set, and at the end of the night, it's like okay, well, does anybody want to hear anything?
Right.
And then people, might request a song, and it's like, do we remember it? I think let's try it. Right. And then we'll just say fuck it and just do it.
Yeah.
It's fun when that happens.
Yeah. No, I love that. It makes it so much more fun because it's not rehearsed. It's not scripted. It's just this is what we're doing tonight. So I really like that. We've done that. I mean, we do that every show. For the most part. I mean, we have a set, but it's never the same. We generally change up covers or take an original out and put another one in or something, maybe something new we're working on.
Do you ever, so with my hip hop project, we have a pretty decent sized catalog of material at this point. And whenever we're doing shows, I will like make our set for like the venue that we're playing in. Like if I feel like it's more of a low key place or if it's more of like a high energy place, I'll build sets to that. Do you ever do anything like that?
Yeah. Very much so. I'm very big on writing the perfect set list. It is like my absolute favorite thing to do.
Okay. Is
creating a set list. Because they're different every time. So for me, it's like writing a new book every time we do this. Yeah. So I always look at the venue. I look at what time we're playing around, if it's around Christmas or Thanksgiving or if it's summer or something like that. And then I look at things I'm listening to at the time that I really like, that I might want to try. So a lot of things, I consider a lot of things, but like Arsenal trying to find, maybe, is there a song about bowling or something? You know what I mean? But just stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Just maybe someone cares. Just one person out there's like, hey, he's playing a bowling song. I'd be like, thank you. So it's just those little things. They were like around Christmas time. We did a Christmas show, not a Christmas show, but our, Christmas show at Club Cafe. And, we did Blue Christmas. And I stuck Old Lang Syne in the middle of one of our songs. So just stupid shit like that. Just to keep people, maybe paying attention a little bit. Hey, like he played a Christmas song or Halloween, especially like Werewolves of London.
Hell yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just stuff like that's fun. And then, yeah, also the venue, depending on where we play, maybe people who have played there. If an artist has died recently, if it's someone's birthday, who's an artist, so we're playing on that day. So I look into all that stuff before, I go, because I love so many artists that there's so many options that we could choose from.
That's fun. Yeah.
So it's so much fun because we've played things, more modern, like John Mayer stuff, because he's fantastic. And just kind of maybe like a radio song or something like that. But we've also played, we generally stick to 60s, 70s, 80s.
What's maybe the most off the wall cover you've done, if there's anything that jumps out?
Loop De Loop by Ween.
Okay.
The SpongeBob song, How to Tie Your Shoe.
Okay.
I love Ween. And my guitar player also loves Ween. Huge Ween fans. I mean, do you know anything? Do you know Ween at all?
I'm very familiar with that band, but not their music. I know that they're a band, and
okay, they're off the wall.
Yeah.
Like
stuff that I've heard of theirs has been off the wall. It hasn't like clicked with me, but it's like I don't know the last time. I'm a child of the 90s, so like all that stuff, because they came out of that like 90s alternative rock boom with everything else. So like I remember that, but it's
Ween is literally like, they're insane. I mean, don't get like, they do some pretty crazy shit, but they're so good. Like their music is just like so good. And everything's so different with them. Like they don't stick to one genre. I mean, that's something I'd love to be able to do, or wish I could do. I mean, I can do it if I really wanted. But it's just,
I wanted to ask you, like, how you felt about genres, or even trying to like put things into a bubble. Are you more of like a person that is like, whatever, a good song's a good song? Or are you like, no, like if you're writing a rock song, it needs to be a rock song. Don't do this or that. Do you feel like there are rules in music?
No, I think there are limitations in terms of when something crosses over to definitely something else. I mean, I'm not going to listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot and say he's a singer-songwriter.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So in that case, there are limitations, because I can't say that, because he's not.
Yeah.
But in terms of there being a rule that Sir Mix-a-Lot can't be a singer-songwriter, it's not true, because he could be if he wanted to be. So it just depends on, if there's a beat. I think the beat's huge. Is there an actual beat, or is it, a band? Beat music is more pop, rap, hip hop, that kind of stuff. And then, the guitar stuff, could be bluegrass, folk, just acoustic, or it could be full electric guitar, heavy metal, death metal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many groups of music.
It's so funny now. You take like some like a modern rock band, like Imagine Dragons,
right?
Or 21 Pilots. Like they're fine bands, but they're barely guitar driven bands.
Right.
And then you have like Old Town Road. So it's so funny, because like there's like a lot of like hip hop stuff that's starting to embrace more guitar, and a lot of rock stuff that's modern that's embracing more synth. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, to go back, I love Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
And I think that Smoke and Mirrors record they released probably, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe at this point, is really good. And you're right, it's not that heavy guitar driven stuff. It's pop. I mean, it's pop music.
Yeah, they're a pop band.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty good music. Depending on who's playing it and how they do it. They do it a really good way, I think. I think they're very creative on how they do it, because they kind of have that mysterious sound to them a bit, and they do write really good songs. I think that last record was great, and they're a great live band. I've seen them a couple times. But yeah, it's just depending on the, it's just depending on the sound, I guess, really, in terms of what genre it is. I'm not someone who's going to sit there and dictate every little sound. And, well, it's not this because that and that, because it's really not worth it. You can't kill it at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I don't know how to categorize us. Like, I don't, because we do so much.
I also think too, with you only playing together for a year now, you said,
Right.
it's probably going to take you a little bit more time to find out exactly what it is that you want to do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I don't really think I want to settle down and do one thing. You know, I don't want to be that kind of artist that,
Sure.
you know, just kind of releases an album and then goes out and does a bunch of shows and then does it again and does a whole bunch of shows. And, you know, people like Beck, who just continually just change the game on music and style, and talking about someone who doesn't have any borders. I mean, the guy does everything. But I like that, you know, he, you know, releasing an album that's only, you know, sheet music.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest fucking things.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's cool to me. Like, I want to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just different. And for Beck, it's not hard to do now for him because he's already built that kind of.
Oh yeah, he can get away with.
He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, your first album can't be sheet music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I do like that kind of that spontaneity that we don't know what his next album is going to be like, you know, because everything he's released has been so different. And that's kind of the same thing with Ween. You know, every album, you know, the first they did was The Mollusk, and that actually inspired SpongeBob. Like, The Mollusk was one of the reasons that SpongeBob was even created. So just like from The Mollusk to, you know, they did a rip on a country record, just, you know, talking shit on country music and shit.
Yeah.
But the 12 songs that were really great kind of country tunes, just talking shit on country music.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of stuff. Like, it's funny, but it's also really the lyrics aren't, you know, the most serious, but the music is so cool. Like, it's such good music. And that's why I like that kind of stuff. And that's why I like Beck too, because it's not always about what he writes. It's about, you know, the music that he writes and the sound that he creates.
There was something that, again, we're talking about, you know, mid 90s alternative.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, I was born in 1985. So 10 years old around the time, you know, you mentioned like 10's when you started really giving a shit about music.
Right.
And I'm probably not too far off from you in that aspect, where like when I was 10, mid 90s, like I'd started listening to, my parents were both big music fans. So like I grew up around a lot of music, but, you know, like by the time I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old, in the middle of all of this like really cool, like genre-less rock stuff that was happening in the mid 90s. It's like everybody that I was friends with in that time had like such diverse interests in music. You know what I mean? It was all like Beck, Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day, Rage Against the Machine. Like, this is all over the place stuff.
All over the place.
And, but it was all cool, and it wasn't weird to like all of those things at the same time. And then like, I don't know. It seemed like towards in the 2000s, everything got like really like either it's a boy band or it's Blink 182 or it's this. And it's like, it was such a strange time. So I'm like, I feel really lucky in my own way to have grown up in that era and to have been exposed to all that stuff.
Yeah. And then 95 was Wildflowers from Tom Petty. And that monumental for me, at least.
No, I like Tom Petty. Tom Petty gets shit on by some people, and I'm usually not the type of person to kind of go out of my way when somebody says something about somebody. It's just like, oh, like, have you even like, you know, like if you don't like something, you don't like it. I'm not going to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But Tom Petty's always the one for me that I'm just like, how the fuck can you not like Tom Petty?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like if you don't like Tom Petty, you don't have a fucking soul.
Yeah.
There's so much heart in that motherfucker's music.
Yeah. Tom is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and the band is incredible. I love Mike Campbell is a fantastic guitarist, and the Dirty Knobs, who's his band, they just announced the tour. But they're great.
Cool.
Because he can shred. And he just did that stint with Fleetwood. And that was sweet. Him and Neil Finn.
Yeah.
And Ben Montench is a fantastic piano player. Just so the whole band as their own are just remarkable musicians. But Tom Petty, I mean, was he's so great. I mean, I feel his songs. I really do.
Another artist that was really good at not like sticking to a genre.
Yeah, so many different things. I mean, early 70s, the first few early 70s were kind of, that kind of real, like kind of grungy kind of.
Yeah, this is like, power pop, hard stuff. Yeah.
But then Jesus Christ, once the, Wildflowers, and then, he did She's the One for that movie with Walls is on there. I don't know if you're familiar with that song. It's one of my favorite Tom Petty songs. It's beautiful. But then, like The Last DJ and Saving Grace and Mojo was that real rocky blues record he did with all that on it.
It's like no matter what, I feel like as an artist, the ultimate goal I feel that any artist should strive to do is to find their own voice. Because once you find that voice, you could do whatever you want and it's still you.
Yeah.
Like you could put on any Beck song and I may have never heard it. And I'll be like, is this fucking Beck?
Right.
Or it's like, is this Tom Petty? Like,
right.
because they have a distinct thing about them. And it could be something that's super hard rock or something that's more soft. Or like, hell, Tom Petty could have done a fucking techno song. Like David Bowie. Another one.
Oh, the king of that.
Like it's like, is this an industrial David Bowie song?
Right.
Yes, it is.
Right.
But it was still him, and it didn't even seem out of place.
No, he's the king of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. My favorite Bowie record is Low. And that's, heavy instrumental stuff, Sound and Vision and New Career, New Town, and but it's my favorite because it is just so fucking whack. Like it is just sounds and just sick guitar riffs and just the whole thing is just so cool. And that for that time period, is just really very heavily experimental.
Yeah.
And it's sick. I mean, it's fucking sick as shit. It really is. Just because he just created so many awesome sounds and they didn't need lyrics. Like it was just instrumental songs. And that's just so like not something a popular artist would generally do, is just do an album of instrumentals. Like Billy Joel did that. He didn't even fucking play the piano for him. He had somebody else, but he wrote piano music, instrumental piano music for a whole album. And that was like the last thing he ever released. Okay. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, okay. I like Billy Joel because he writes really good pop songs.
Yeah.
And I respect, obviously, the piano playing part of it, but nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean? He released that in like 2000 something. Like,
well, I mean, it's probably just one of those things where it's like, I think, your interests change and your passions change. And it's like, even though it's maybe something that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
It's still kind of like, well, this is what I want to do right now.
Totally. And that's what he said.
Yeah.
And he's always, said that he really likes that kind of music, Beethoven and Mozart and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's not even bad. I mean, I've listened to it. And
it's just
I do
not like what you're.
No, I do like. I like the tunes, and I wish he was playing them.
Sure.
If he was playing them, I would give a lot more credit to it because it's really beautifully played.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. I mean, it's still beautiful music. It's just not Billy Joel.
Are you a Mars Volta fan at all?
No.
So they're like a rock band. Though they're kind of defunct, but I think maybe they're putting out some new material. I don't know. That's a mystery. Regardless, so their first album that they put out, they had a lot of like John Frusciante and Flea played on it, and they had a bunch of other guest people. John Theodore is a really good drummer. But anyways, their third album that they put out, like the main guitar player in the band, I was reading a thing. And he didn't play any guitar on the album. Like he wrote the parts, but John Frusciante from Red Hot Chili Peppers actually played everything in the studio. And then what Omar, the main guitar player, did, he pretty much just produced it. He pretty much like sat in the booth and controlled everything and almost like George Lucas'd this album together from his mind. And it's neat, like from a creator's perspective, to be willing to do that or trust another person to like perform the stuff that you wrote, but like you're just like taking that realm or the reins on this. Like, I just want to sit behind the booth and like direct, like, I wrote this and now you act it out in a way. It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's neat. I don't know.
No. Yeah. I feel like that might lose it. For me, I'm really big on one artist writing their own music. I don't like the songs, the pop songs, which is the majority of pop songs now, where 12 people write the song.
It's a little weird.
And it's got like 6 lines in it. Like, why does it take 12 people to figure that out? And then I also really prefer artists play their own stuff. But that's just me personally. I mean, I think it's sweet when that kind of stuff happens, just because it is nice to kind of just step back and say, hey, I wrote this, you play it. Kind of what Billy did and kind of what they did. But I definitely prefer that real authentic, I wrote this, I'm playing it, I'm recording it, this is how it sounds. Because I just think it drives a little bit more for me, because then it's just like, this guy's sick. Like, he wrote this and now he's playing it. Like,
I don't think that there's any like right or wrong way to put together music. It's different things work for different people, but it does like bug me whenever some pop stars get a lot of credit for things that they didn't do.
Oh my God, it's awful.
But it's like we have to also keep in mind, it's like that person is a brand of sorts. Like Beyonce is a brand. She's done a lot of great things in her own right for things, but it's like, well, if you're a fan of Beyonce the person, okay, cool. I can't argue that.
Right.
But if you're a fan of Beyonce's music but can't name any of the producers or songwriters, people that have actually helped put those songs together, it's like, that's kind of But a lot of people that aren't musicians or artists, they don't care. They just want the vessel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so it's like, I think of like, you know, Beyonce almost is just like a really talented actress of sorts when it comes to her music.
Right.
And, you know, it's, people engage with that stuff in the same way that maybe they engage with movies. You know, it's like, okay, you know, they like who's a famous actress right now? I don't know. I'm trying to think of any. Scarlett Johansson, sure. So
exactly who I thought.
A lot of people like Scarlett Johansson.
Literally, that's crazy.
Nobody is thinking about like, oh, who is writing her parts?
Right.
Who is Scarlett Johansson's makeup artist? Who are these? You know,
no one ever gives a shit.
A lot of those people don't give a shit about that. It's just like, so.
Are you big on movies?
I like movies. I won't say I'm big on movies. I like movies enough. I probably like movies more than a normal person, but I have some friends that are like, I like movies.
Same.
And I'm definitely not like that, but I like movies. Yeah.
We're in the same boat, I think. Because I got some friends that are like huge movie buffs. Like just anything you mentioned, there's a movie quote for it. But I've recently got into movies more, actually, I think. Older movies. Like, I really like Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
I love The Graduate. I love all the President's Men. Just all that shit. It's really good. And the soundtracks are great.
So, are you a fan of kind of like schlocky movies at all?
Yeah.
So, there's a newer, it's maybe from 2008 or 7 with Dustin Hoffman.
With Adam Sandler?
No.
Oh.
It's called Perfume.
Okay.
And it's like this story about this guy that makes perfume, and this like poor kid that like wants to learn how to make perfume. And then he starts learning how to make perfume. And one day he's like walking by and he catches the scent of this woman. Then he thinks it's like the most perfect scent in the world. And he tries to find ways to like recreate this scent. And he does it by like killing people and trying to extract like the scent of their bodies to like get this. It's really fucked up and weird.
Jesus.
But Dustin Hoffman's in it. And he plays like the master perfume maker guy.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, training the other kid. It's
boy.
weird. It's such a weird movie, but it's like kind of schlocky and corny. But I'm like, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like corny is good.
Yeah. It really just depends on how like the first 5 or 10 minutes go for me.
Yeah.
I really don't have a specific genre. I'm like, I can't watch that. Or, you know, like if we watch a movie, you know, in the first, you know, couple minutes are pretty good or catch me, then I'm interested. Mm-hmm. But I'm not someone that's going to sit there and, you know, try to figure it out.
Sure.
Kind of shit.
I think I'm the same way.
Yeah. Love Toy Story.
Fucking great, dude.
All Toy Stories. Have you seen Toy Story 4?
I haven't seen the newest one though.
Jesus Christ. It rips your heart out.
Oh yeah. 3 ripped me apart, dude.
Yeah. 3's the ending of 3 is tough.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the toughest ending out of all 4 Toy Stories. But Toy Story 4 hits differently.
I'll watch it whenever it's on Disney Plus. I'll watch it.
Oh my god, isn't that such bullshit? How do you put all 3 on there and then you don't put 4 on?
It's just not. It's not ready yet. They just put up the live action Aladdin.
Oh really?
And I watched it last night.
How was that?
I liked it.
I'm a huge Disney fan.
Nice.
I love Disney movies.
Yeah, I like Disney too.
I love Pixar.
I just spent 8 days in Disney World.
No way.
Last year. Yeah, it was awesome.
Shit.
It was the shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my girlfriend went. We had a good time, and Aladdin is my favorite Disney cartoon.
Okay.
So I was really hesitant about watching this movie. But I liked it. It was fine.
Yeah.
I like the animated version more. I mean, I fucking grew up with it. You're not gonna take that from me.
Right.
But the new one is fun. I thought Will Smith did a great job. It didn't weird me out that much.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think bugged me the most about it was the way that they changed some of the songs.
Really? I haven't seen it.
I mean, like, it's like they changed some of the lyrics and some of the cadence and the vocal delivery, and like they changed some instrumental things, which I get. They made it modern.
Totally.
And some of the stuff sounds cooler.
Right.
And some of it sounds weirder.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple new songs that they added that Jasmine sings.
Yeah, the great thing about Disney, and the one of the main reasons that I really love those early animated classics, Lion King, Tarzan, Toy Story, that they find the most talented musicians or artists to do those soundtracks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Elton John did Lion King. Randy Newman, who's a fucking genius, does Toy Story.
Yeah.
Did Toy Story.
Perfect match.
Phil Collins did Tarzan. Like, they get the finest people to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Randy Newman's probably their most prized possession with Toy Story, just because Randy Newman is just just so beautifully, he's just a beautiful person.
Was it The Lion King that Sting did the original score for, and then they replaced it?
I don't know.
There's a Disney movie that Sting did like they did something like it was composed, and then they like scrapped it for some reason.
No way.
Yeah. Fuck.
God.
Let me look it up real quick. Let me see.
I have a good Sting story while you do that.
Tell me that.
I've seen Sting a couple times, but I was in Toronto 2 or 3 years ago, and he did a show at Rebel, and it's this tiny little nightclub that probably holds 700 people. And it was a part of his 56th and 44th tour, whatever the hell that album was called that he released. And I was in Toronto when they announced the show was happening at Rebel that night. So I went there. It was cold as shit on Lake Erie. And I waited outside for 7 hours. Was second in line, got inside, was second in the pit to see Sting at this club that holds no more than 700 people. And it was sick.
Hell yeah.
It was sick. Because I love Sting. I love the Police. But it just shit like that is so cool. Because like it's totally not a typical place Sting's going to be playing.
Yeah.
I mean, the next time I saw Sting was at fucking Nationwide Arena in Columbus.
Okay.
So like huge change.
It's cool to be able to do that. So I was way off. It was definitely not The Lion King. It was The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
He did the score for that originally.
Yeah, so The Emperor's New Groove, that whole movie has like a really fucked up backstory where like it originally wasn't called The Emperor's New Groove. It was something else, and part of it was animated, and then they like re-scrapped everything, and like songs were written for a movie that got changed, and they changed the title. Like I don't remember everything that happened with it, but that movie was like apparently a nightmare to fucking make.
Damn, I can't believe they scrapped Sting.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah, that's
Sting,
something
man.
to look into if you're curious.
Yeah. No, but overall, I mean, Disney movies are really, Pixar for me is probably my favorite. I mean, I love Up. I can't get through the first 10 minutes of Up without, literally breaking down.
Yeah, we would just rewatched Up.
It's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know why Disney does that to us, Like that first 10 minutes is like literally the beginning of life to death.
It's crazy.
In 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just like shit. Like kids watch this.
Yeah.
Like this is heavy. It's some deep shit. It's not just like Disney Mickey Mouse fucking around. You know what I mean? Like it's life and death. Like within the first 10 minutes of a movie. But I think Disney, really is. Have you how long have you had Disney Plus?
Since it came out.
Okay. Have you watched any of those shorts, the Disney shorts?
Yeah,
have you seen Forky?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say
we got to talk about Forky.
Yeah, the Toy Story ones are sick. They're so fun.
Oh my god, Forky is literally a fucking fever dream. That thing.
I like the way the arms go.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Forky is the most ridiculous character ever, but he is so beautiful. Like I love him. Like it's such a genius thing. Like it's so simple. Like it's fucking a spork. But like there's some real meaning behind that character. Like especially in Toy Story 4, and you haven't seen it yet. But he's in that because that's what they created the shorts off of. But just like he really is like an incredible character. Like but it's so simple. It's so funny.
Did you watch The Short Bow?
I've watched all of them, but if you can give me I've heard I totally know what you're talking about.
It's like with the little bow bun that becomes a kid and she raises it. It's like the bow bun.
Oh god,
and it ends up being like a metaphor for her kid moving out, wanting to move out of the house.
Okay. I think I've definitely definitely seen that.
Yeah. It's hard to describe, but it's like really like heartbreaking and sad. It's cute though.
Is it the one where her sister's raising her? Okay. There's so many on there, which are really cool. I think the shorts are the best that thing on Disney Plus right now. Because all the movies, I've seen. There's just so
Did you watch Mr. Boogedy?
No.
It's fucking hysterical.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like this old Disney Channel horror movie. It's off the rails corny, but again, it's me loving that corny stuff.
Right.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else that I've really enjoyed that I haven't seen. Oh, Incredibles. The Incredibles are great.
Yeah.
But I'm really big into the Pixar stuff. Okay. So that's why I like that kind of shit. But the documentaries on Disney Plus are kind of cool too.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to check any of them out yet, but I do want to watch.
And Nat Geo is always cool.
Yeah.
With all the wildlife stuff and all that. So I think that there's definitely not enough on Disney Plus right now.
I think there's plenty.
You think?
Yeah. But I also too, I maybe only the amount of time that I take to sit down with it's maybe once or twice a week. So.
Okay. So I feel like we watched pretty much everything we wanted to watch within like a week.
Did you watch The Mandalorian? Are you a Star Wars guy?
I'm not a Star Wars guy. A lot of my friends like that kind of stuff.
I thought it was awesome. It was like I like Star Wars enough.
Okay.
I'm not an obsessive person.
Yeah.
But I thought that the Mandalorian was like probably the most intriguing and fun Star Wars thing that I had engaged with.
Okay. Yeah, when I was a kid, like I really was into Star Wars. Like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I guess. How many episodes are there total? 9. Okay, so probably the first 3 or 4. I was really into action figures, like all that shit. Loved it. But then eventually I just kind of stopped liking it. And I really never got back into it since.
So, wrapping things up on our Disney talk and then probably wrapping up our conversation, I have a question I want to ask you.
Oh boy.
Regarding Disney.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just quick 1-sentence response. How do you feel about Frozen?
It's catchy. It's a catchy movie.
Yeah. I do not like Frozen.
The soundtrack's pretty good.
The soundtrack's fine, but in terms of movies, I wish Brave was as popular as Frozen because I like Brave 10 times more than Frozen. Yeah. It's such a better movie.
Speaking of those two, and real quick, I know we're running out of time, but real quick.
That's fine.
What do you think about that whole Disney idea that every movie connects to a different time period with Disney? You know what I mean? Like Frozen, there's some hints of this movie and that there's this whole Disney world that exists.
I don't think that it's intentional, but I think that it's inevitable, just given how much content Disney has put out over the past century. That things are going to connect.
Yeah, because like in Toy Story 1, when Buzz and Andy are Buzz and Woody are trying to get back on that moving bus, they take that real quick brief pause and they go to inside someone's random car, and they're playing Hakuna Matata.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just shit like that.
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff is fun. It's just sort of like a fun little idea where it's like, how can we tie something in, and we already have the rights. We own this fucking stuff.
Yeah,
so
they own everything. Disney literally owns everything.
Yeah, just use it.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Frozen, but all negativity aside, I've enjoyed our chat.
Absolutely, thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming on here.
It's been very fun.
Yeah, and where can people, if they are interested, do you have any music available online or any place where people can find out gigs that are coming up?
Yeah, if you just go to our Facebook page, Hunty Lytes Music on Facebook. And then we're going to be reforming and be releasing new music probably by July.
Awesome.
So there'll be a whole new set of websites with a new band and all that kind of stuff. But you can get all that information on that Facebook page.
Hell yeah. Cool. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time, Hunty. Thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the Beat 2020. Woo woo. Thanks for listening. And we are done.
Beautiful.
We did it. That's a podcast.